So there's a concept called Aamad in Hindustani music, which is very important, I feel. It is the highest sort of climax point where people go, ah, kya baat hai, you know. So how do you go from a palta being just technical mathematics to it being an emotional something where the audience goes, oh wow.
You first have to work on the cake and then comes the icing, then comes the cherry. So this is the cake. So without the cake, the icing will fall apart and the cherry has no place to sit on. So the thing is, see, the problem with our understanding of our approaching classical music is we hear a performance by the masters and we think that there's a way to practice that. You don't have a way to practice that. You have to practice the basics. The problem is we haven't seen the CN Tower being built. We only have seen the tip of that thing. It's like, वहाँ जाएंगे. यहाँ से जाना पड़ेगा ना. वहाँ से शुरू नहीं कर सकते. That's the problem. When you listen to performances and you want to learn how to sing that, then you're not interested in palta. Because palta तो कभी किसी को आते नहीं सुना. ये तो मैं स्टेज पे बैठे गाऊंगी तो nobody will buy a ticket. कि लड़की तो पागल हो चुकी है. So, but when you don't practice this, Aamad will not happen, because what is Aamad? Tell me what you find interesting now. Now my question.
I think that's it's very subjective, I feel, about what Aamad is. It's not, there's no manual book of, how to get a wawa on when you come to the song.
No, wawa can happen by many different things. Wawa can happen in a meed, wawa can happen in a gamak, wawa can happen in a rag, badhad. But exactly when you say Aamad, what do you mean by it? For you. Of course it's subjective.
I think the excitement that one feels, that the rhythmic cycle is coming to an end, and at the same time, your improvisation comes to an end and you catch the bandish at the right spot, and the sum of the bandish matches with the rhythmic cycle, and it becomes an emotionally uplifting, exciting moment.
So what you now said, let's just analyze what you just said, what you only said. So it's the rhythmic cycle and the bandish, the mukhra. And there are 2 points. One is the mukhra, one is the sum. So there are 2 points in the rhythmic cycle that you are concentrating on. One is where the mukhra starts from, and one is where the sum is coming. Okay? So the sum is fixed. Where the mukhra is starting, that can be changed. Because in a performance that generally changes. There's one standard mukhra, and then there are some special places that we try to find and create. It's not something that's practiced and done before, but some certain bandishes will have certain places which are interesting points of starting. So that also can become Aamad. So there's one fixed point which is the mukhra, and then few other improvised points that you can, I'm not saying create, but explore within a performance. So what is happening here? And without what it can't happen. So first of all, your understanding of the rhythmic cycle has to be solid. Otherwise, it cannot happen. So, now this is one element. Let's understand how to do this. From the very beginning of the Vilambit, you will have to keep your own tempo and your own cycle and your own time and your own beats. You can't wait for a Vilambit iktal, Terekite to come, for your mukhra to come. And बेचारा वो तबला वाला ऊपर चढ़ जाता है तेरे किटे इतना जोर से बजाना. So that has to be corrected. Step 1. Aamad हम बाद में देख लेंगे. Okay. Now, you are a musician, right? Can we experiment with something? Hey, students! Thank you. I'll hold the microphone. Give Rupak ka tali kare. दिन अभी सुबह से आपने क्या क्या किया मुझे बताइए. Nobody else.
I woke up in the morning, brushed my teeth, then Dada came to my place.
Huh.
We did a couple of recordings. Then we went out to the Christian Science. It was raining.
It was pouring.
It was pouring.
Yeah.
And thankfully we shot some videos before it started pouring. It was lightly raining at that time. But
Good. Yeah.
and then we went to Mumbai Spice.
Nobody took us. I'm only called for question and answer. It's not a good place? Okay, good, enjoy.
And we had chicken nut, some garlic nut, and then we were not full yet.
So this with Ara Chotal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there are a few variations which we can, if you want, we can discuss that. But, you know, so this is your understanding of a lay. So my exercise as a small child was I will get up and I will be, you know, just about to leave home to go to school. Baba would give me one tal and one tempo and say, Raat ko poochunga. So I would drink water. All day I would do this. No wonder I was a bad student in school. So this one tempo and one tal would go on and on and on and on and on till night, and we will sit for dinner and Baba's like, nahi, thoda sa lay badh gaya hai. I'm like, man, what do you want? And first thing in the morning, I would hardly get up. Sa bolo apna sa bolo. So you have to sing your B flat ka sa. First thing in the morning, like jagi bhi nahi theek se. Awaaz bhaw 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 like a frog. Sa bolo, sa bolo, sa bolo. So recognizing your note, your sa, your home, and being glued to a tal, a tempo all day. So basic things. तब जाके क्या होगा, तब जाके आपका विलंबित का जो पूरा लय है ना, वो आपके दिमाग में ऐसे बैठेगा कि वो बीच में से उठ के चला भी आएगा. I don't care, I know where the sun is. So that is the foundation of Aamad, because you know where you are in the time cycle and you know exactly how far you are from the mukhra, be it the standard mukhra or the experimental mukhra that you have created for yourself. So that's number one. Number two is bandish का मुखड़ा ताल पे आना पड़ेगा ना, तो बंदिश. Say tell me a bandish that you say. हाँ अभी ताल देके इसको पढ़ो. तिन तिन नाटक दिन दिंदा पिया बीना सखी. पढ़ो. कल ना पढ़त. हाँ करेक्ट. चलो अभी आमद बोलो. एरी आली पिया बिन सखी एरी बोलो. पढ़ो.
एरी आली पिया बिन एरी आली पिया बिन सखी एरी आली पिया बिन सखी एरी
सखी एरी आली पिया सखी एरी आली पिया बिन सखी एरी आली सखी एरी करना पड़त वो से सड़ी फल चिन दिन एरी आली पिया बिन सखी एरी आली पिया बिन करना पड़त वो घड़ी फल चिन दिन एरी आली. ये आमद का प्रैक्टिस. You don't need a rag. You don't need a tabla player. You don't need anything. You need one set of words and one tempo and one tal. And then you practice. And then once this becomes your comfort zone, then you can do anything in this. तो पहले आपको साइकिल समझना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद साइकिल में वर्ड्स कैसे बैठते हैं वो समझना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद आपको वो वर्ड्स का साहित्य बन रहा है या नहीं वो देखना पड़ेगा. At the moment what we are doing is सखी एरी आली पिया बिना सखी कलना पड़ा तो मुझसे घड़ी पले चिन्ह देना. लेकिन इसके अलावा भी अलग अरेंजमेंट्स हो सकते हैं वर्ड्स का. कीपिंग द साहित्य, कीपिंग द मूड, कीपिंग द मीनिंग. So when you start doing this, beyond the point, you go deeper into it. Then you start looking at different dimensions of the same practice. तब जाके आपको ये सारे steps बहुत मंडेन हैं. लेकिन जब स्टेज पे जाके आपको दिखता है कि क्या हंस हंस के मुखड़े इतने खुशी से आ रहे हैं, मुझे वो करना है, वो कैसे करना पड़ता है, तब मैं बोलती हूँ ताली खाली देके बोलो सुबह से क्या किया, यू आर डिसइंटरेस्टेड. But that's the foundation of it. You have to make it muscle memory. You have to make it like you're breathing. आप जब बात करते हैं आप सांस लेना भूल जाते हैं. Then while singing, how can you forget where the mukhra is? It's that basic. So now tell me whether this is technical practice or mastery practice or something. I have never been able to separate one from the other. Because what you sing is always technical. But where it gets is spiritual. You never practice spiritual. You can't. You can't practice, sit and with a tanpura. Today I will practice spiritual classical music.